Hello, everybody, and welcome. Thank you for taking some time out of your day to join us for our webinar on BOLDBuild. It's our construction solution that we hope to help solve some of the pain points that you see in the construction industry. So next slide, so we can introduce ourselves. My name's Nick. I'm the sales manager here at AlphaBold, and we are joined by Tayyab Ali, who is our VP of Consulting. And he's going to take us through the majority of today's webinar, as well as some demos, so that way you can see how BOLDBuild works, what it looks like, and how it can help your business. And then we're also joined by Mahmoud Tanash, who's going to be kind of on the back end for any technical questions that come up. And speaking of questions, if you do have any questions throughout the presentation, please feel free to enter them in the questions section. I'll be monitoring those. I'll try to answer them on the side, or we'll bring them up throughout the presentation and try to get those answered as best as possible for you. If we cannot, then we will reach out to you afterwards. A little bit about our agenda for today. First, we're going to go through the webinar flow. We're going to kind of map out how we're going to be managing this webinar, and so you have an idea of how we're going to be bouncing around. And right under that are the challenges that we are going to be looking at. You should have seen these as far as our invites went, but it's another look. Then at the end, we will finalize with some questions, and we'll try to answer those as best as possible. We'll look at what's next as far as maybe getting you set up with a demo or a trial instance, and then we'll give you some insights into our actual BOLDBuild packages and pricing. So if you are interested, you know what to expect going into it. So next slide. Oh, and then also throughout the presentation, I'm going to be launching some polls. We would love to get your feedback on what you guys are currently doing and using. So we would appreciate any feedback in regards to that. So as far as the webinar flow, on that left side there, as I had mentioned, these are kind of the pain points and challenges that we've focused on for this presentation, at least across the AEC industry. And what we're going to do is kind of map them out to the different phases within a construction project. And then we'll look at the different applications and modules within BOLDBuild and how they map to the phase as well as those pain points. And really what we're trying to do is show you the benefits of BOLDBuild. And ultimately what we've seen from our experiences, you can save over $2 million a year in just time on admin tasks and double data entry. We're looking to reduce your rework by almost 50%. We want to allow you guys to have those better insights into your operations, those executive level insights, and then just showcasing how a single solution like BOLDBuild can manage the project from all the way from the front to the end of the project itself. So we really want to showcase that single integrated system. And then we'll also just kind of showcase how we can integrate with other systems. So if you are attached to a system that you're already using, we can integrate with that as well. And we'd like to at least give you some insights there. Next slide. So yeah, let's dive into the challenges and put a little, I guess, monetary perspective on what we are looking at here. So a lot of the pain points we will be discussing in today's webinar result in missed schedules, and missed schedules cost the industry $165 billion a year, and that's 17% of the total construction spend. And we can break this down in the following manner. As you can see, 75% of the projects are estimated to miss their schedules, with 10% of the contract value being delivered late. That's $75 billion of costs incurred after the original deadline. Couple this with the $20 billion in labor and overhead incurred as a result of the overruns, plus $75 billion in liquidated damages, and you can see there's a lot of money being incurred as a result of overruns and missed schedules. So by simply solving these issues that we're presenting today, you can easily reduce costs for your organization and really try to keep your projects on track, so that way you don't have to worry about all that kind of stuff. All right, so I think that's all I got for you guys today. I'm going to pass it off to Tayyab. Again, I will be monitoring the questions, so anything that pops into your head, go ahead and enter them there, and you'll see me again with some polls soon. Go ahead, Tayyab.
Thank you so much, Nick, and thank you for starting with the monetization aspect of the challenges we have in the AEC. Throughout the rest of this webinar, what I'll do is, as per the agenda that was shared with you, I'll walk you through some additional struggles, challenges, pain points for specific modules, and then I'll show you a demonstration on how BOLDBuild is specifically built to tackle some of these and alleviate those challenges so that you could get the best out of the system that you have. So the first one here is RFI and submittals. As you all know, they are probably very, very important. They're important from the execution standpoint. They're also important from having everything documented standpoint. You can see up here some statistics again, 9.7 median days for an RFI response. And even after that, there's so many RFIs that are left unattended and without any responses, 21+% for that. And from the dollar standpoint, it's an almost $1,000 that are spent per RFI review and response. And that's true for submittals as well. And there's so much more that has to happen on both RFIs and submittals in terms of additional communication because of a missing response, incorrect information, not good documentation of that information. That leads to around 50% more work across these two important components of the process of managing a project. So with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you straight into BOLDBuild, and I'll show you how BOLDBuild handles RFIs and submittals. So I come in here. BOLDBuild has multiple apps, as you probably already know. Some of you have seen it. I'm going to be focusing primarily on the project management app. So you would see this BOLDBuild project management. The way it is organized is on the left, you have the navigation, and on the right side, you have your project. So this is how your project looks like. And you have submittals and RFIs here. And I'll come to this in a second and show you how you generate a submittal on RFI in context of a project. But before I even do that, I want to start with our submittals dashboard right here. So let me just log into my Power BI dashboard. It has never failed to betray me, and always when I start a webinar, it asks me to log in. So I log into the RFI one as well. So I'm not having to log into that too, because I want to start with these two dashboards that we have. So you can see here that this is my submittal report. And the first and foremost, as I talked about the fact that you have so many median days, you have submittals and RFIs that are lost without any response. So this is like a pictorial representation for an executive or a project manager, so that they don't lose track of what's open, what's approved, what's pending, what's in review, and so on and so forth. You have statuses up here, so you can do RFIs and submittals in BOLDBuild in pre-construction, during the project execution, as well as at any stage. And you can filter down quickly. So let's say you're interested in why I have these two in review. You click on this and you will see that you see how it is kind of loading again. You're going to filter everything in these dashboards based on that. And if I scroll down now, you will see that it's telling me, okay, I have these two. One of them was initiated in the pre-construction phase. I can look at who is my subcontractor with regards to that. It's Rip City Construction. And that's the one that I'm going to use for most of this demo. It is between 0 to 7 days in terms of its timeline. I can also go in here and see, okay, what is the submittal by stage? So you can see it is in the architect review status. I can go by different statuses and I can look at the one that I'm talking about, it's in review. And I can also look at them holistically, and then I'll be able to see all of them. And then when I come in here, this is the one that I want to use for my demo. So I'll click on this and open up the submittal for you in a bit, and it will take me directly to that submittal. So right from this pictorial representation, I can dive in to a specific submittal. Same is the case with my RFI report. I can see all of my open RFIs. So if I want, I can enhance the time frame on this. I can say show me last 4 weeks rather than last 1 week. And it is going to filter everything. And obviously, as it filters, it's going to probably show me more data if I have more data in the system. So it will probably bring that in. And what will happen here is similar to what you saw with submittal. I have a link. So I can open up my RFI right from here as well. And again, for the sake of this demo, I have specific ones that I want to showcase to you. So I'll be focusing primarily on those that I want to show. I can again, just like I showed you before, go to project view, subcontractor view, and the contact view. What I'm going to do next is very simply, I'll just click on this link and I'll open up my submittal here. So now it is taking me directly to my submittal record. It's a very simple, easy to follow record that we have in here. So first of all, it has the subject line. It tells me what categories I'm sharing as part of the submittal creation. So I'm talking about shop drawing, some of the samples and specification. I'll be sending copies to the architect and the owner. Obviously, all of this is, you can add more if you want to this. I am here saying that who would be my submitter, who would be sending me the samples that I am asking for. So it is Rip City Construction, and I have the due date and the requested date and the date sent here. Up here, I have my flow for this submittal, so I can be in the scheduling stage, then I can move into the preparation stage. In the preparation stage, it's actually the responder, which in this case is the submitter who is going to respond to my submittal, and then it goes through a review cycle, and then it goes into an architectural review. And this is configurable, obviously based on the flow that you're following. You might need more approvals as well. You want to maybe send copies to some other folks as well. All of your parties are organized in here. And you can quickly generate your submittal just by clicking this button that says generate submittal. Now, one thing that we are most proud of is our document merge utility that we have in context of the submittals that we produce. So what you can do is, obviously you can click on this button and it will generate a cover letter for you or cover page for you for your submittal. But what if you want to send some documents over? You want to send some specifications, some product data. You can just go through all the documents that you have against this project. I'm just using some examples here. You select them, just like I have this selected here, shop drawing, and it kind of adds that to the list in here. For example, it removed it, but I say, okay, I want this. And then what I can do is now if I hit generate submittal, it is going to generate the submittal document and it will append these to automatically. So you don't have to do any extra work to create that nice submittal with all the information and send it out. Let me show you an example of this. If I go into my documents in here, I have one submittal that has been generated as for this demonstration here. So I'm going to just open this up, and you will see that it has automatically generated for you this nice cover letter that you see. And then it is telling you these are the two documents that are attached. And if I scroll down in here, it has all of this attached in this. It kind of really quickly gives you all the details without having to create these manually, which is something that you have to do probably in most of the other systems that are available out there. I also have a transmittal history in here. So for example, what you see, it tells me that this was created by myself. Then it went to the subcontractor. My subcontractor in this case, as you saw in the details section, was Whitney. So she responded back and sent me the specifications and the samples. And then it went into the GC review. And right now it is pending approval from the architect. Now, from the approval standpoint, all of that is automated as well. So I can go, I have two ways to approve it. I can go either in my Microsoft Teams and I can approve it from there, or I can approve it from my email. So what I'm going to do next is I'll just quickly go in here and I'm going to approve this through my Teams. So just give me a second. So I come in here.
Add there, Tab, is when we're generating those proposals or submittals or everything, they're templatized, and it's something that we work with our clients and your organizations to templatize to make it your logos, your everything. It becomes your proposal, your submittal.
Thank you. So here you see it's pending response because it is in review section. So I can go in and I can say approve and I hit submit in here, and it is going to just approve my submittal. So this, obviously, I'm wearing multiple hats for this particular webinar, but you can imagine here I have complete tracking. And if I now go back into my demonstration and I try to refresh it, you would see that this has been approved by me. So everything end to end we have tried to automate for you so that you don't have to deal with the challenges that we saw. I can also go into holistic view of the submittal. So I can open this up, I can click on submittals, and now it is showing me submittals across all the projects that I have. And obviously I might be interested in just the one that I'm working on. So if I just put in my project in here, it will just filter down on that. And you can see I have two submittals for that project. And the same case happens with my RFIs as well. I can go, and I was telling you that you can access the same information in context of the project. So I click on submittal, it shows me here are my two submittals. And then here is my RFI, which is exactly the same as the submittal. So I won't go and show you the details of that, but the flow is the same, as well as the approval process is automated. But I also want to highlight here is that within BOLDBuild, this is all configurable based on different configurations that you have. So for example, if your design methodology here is not design build, it's some other, for example, construction manager at risk, integration project delivery, you can have different flows to the whole process, and you can eliminate that back and forth there as well. So with that, I'm going to go back into the slide deck and move to the next slide. So I hope you were able to see how we feel that we can eliminate at least no responses, because you have that nice dashboard, and it also has alerts that it generates if it goes beyond a certain time waiting for a response. And we have made it efficient, and we have automated it to the extent we could, starting from entering information, generation of the documents, and talk about more about the storage of the documents as well. And we've also automated the review and the response. So you saw how I was easily able to approve it. I didn't have to ping someone, call them, remind them. It just shows up on their Teams. And if they don't have Microsoft Teams, it also can generate an email and they can approve through that. So I hope you were able to relate to how it will eliminate some of these challenges that are very, very common across the industry. And we try to make it very, very simple and easy as well, so that it's easier to onboard customers onto this. Any questions for me, Nick, before I go to the next section?
None from the audience, but I do have a question for the audience. I'd like to launch our first poll.
Okay, go ahead.
And I just want to get an idea for to see if you guys are actually using any systems right now for managing your submittals or RFIs, or if you're using one or the other, or none, or if the way you're managing it is through Excel and you're just checking on in Excel here and there. We would just like to see what you guys are doing out here. Looks like majority of you are actually using something for both, which is good to see. And then we got quite a few only for submittals. And yeah, it looks like majority say both, so that's good to see. And then we got about a third of you saying only for submittals. So we'll leave this open for another couple of seconds here. We do appreciate your feedback. Thank you very much. And we will close this up. Thank you, everybody. And I'll give it back to you, Tab.
Thank you so much. All right, so next module that we want to focus on is document management and the struggles and challenges that we have, which is huge. And I know all of you want to hear more about this, because everybody we talk to, they have challenges with managing documents. So again, we have spent a lot of effort in making it streamlined. I'll talk about that, but before that, so 47% compare errors and issues in construction documents. These errors and issues are not just because people are making mistakes, but they're also because there are so many different versions of it. People are storing them on their desktops, they're making changes. There's no single source of truth that you could refer to, and then at the end of it, merging them together. All of that misaligned communication leads to more errors and more issues that we have in that. 30% of the data is lost. So you can, forget about the errors. It's saved somewhere and it never actually makes it to the project. And when you get to the closeout stage, then you are hustling and trying to get those documents. And 50% of the time, because there are kind of three components of this challenge that we try to resolve. The first one is obviously the document creation. The second one is document storage. And the third, which is probably affecting larger part of the organization, is access. So at times you just fail to capture that data. So obviously there's no way to resolve it because the data has never made it into the system. So with that, I'm going to go into another demo here, because I want to show you how we have tried to fix it. So the first piece I want to talk about is document generation. So what we have tried to do is to automate document generation. And the way we handle that is, so first of all, we have a document section, which is part of all of the phases. So it starts on the pre-construction or buyout even, then it goes into construction, and it has multiple locations in it. So for example, you can see I have all of these locations. I'm going to show you one of the locations here, which is the primary location I have. And firstly, not only do we have it organized like you see, it can be templatized to your liking and you can have any flow that you want in here. But more importantly, as we generate these documents, so for example, I showed you how you click on a button and generate submittal, or you generate RFI. We automatically store them in this respective folder. So for example, if I load all these folders here, you would see that I have in here a submittal folder. And any submittal documents that are generated through BOLDBuild, they're automatically organized for you in the right folder. You don't have to go somewhere, find that information, or move it manually because you will forget to move it. So it just stores it in one location. And then what it does is that it automatically brings it back for you. So you have it in one source. You can share it from that one source. It has version control on it. So as people make changes to it, you can track who is making what changes to it. You can revert back to the previous versions as well. You can easily upload documents directly in there as well. So for example, if you have a response that came in, if you're using our portal piece as part of the submittals and vendor management, then it automatically brings in even external documents and puts them in right folders for you. But if you're not using that, you can always go in and, for example, you can click on this folder and you can upload a document in here or drag and drop a document in there. So that's one piece. You're generating documents, you're storing documents, and then you're easily accessing documents. But then there's so much collaboration that is happening across the project. So you're not just storing documents by going into traditional file server structure, which I'm showing you right now, which is all of your folders like this. You're also at times generating documents when you're collaborating. So for example, if you're using Microsoft Teams and you're sharing documents with each other, so you see I have a location here that is specific to my teams. And in that case, what happens is that as you share documents back and forth within teams, they also get stored in here. And as I get to the Teams piece or collaboration piece, I'll show you how these documents automatically make it from Microsoft Teams in context of your project. So that's the second piece of that is being stored in here. And then obviously the third is that if you want to have a holistic view of all the documents that have ever been generated, you can click on that all locations, and now it is showing you everything. It is showing you your folders as well as your documents, and you can click on this load more and see all of them. That's kind of the core piece of our document management. We have this synced, but we give you a holistic view within that. But in addition to that, once these documents are stored, you can surface them in different ways. So you don't have to always ask people to come in here and access the photos that are generated. So we made like this nice photo gallery here, where you can go in here, you can choose your site. And as you select your site, we have an app for the on-site folks that they will use to add documents. And those documents also get automatically saved in context of the project in the right folder, but they don't have to go to the folder. They can have a nice view where you can just quickly go through those documents through this. Similarly, if you have any other documents that you want stored and processed in different ways, our system allows you to be able to do that as well. So with that, I'm going to go back to the deck again. So hopefully you were able to see how this system would eliminate the issues that you have. So think of it this way as well, that we have one location in all the phases by our pre-construction construction can point to them. So you don't have to manually create copies of those and say, okay, now I'm moving from pre-construction to construction, so let's create another copy, because then you also have two versions and you don't know which version is the right one. But in some instances, you would need that. So we also allow you to create some copies and manage that through that as well. But we make it very easy for you to capture these documents. I showed you two examples, submittals and RFIs, but as we go to document creation module, you will see that we have everything templatized, as Nick was saying as well. And everything, once you make that data available in BOLDBuild, you don't have to enter data again. You just click a button, it generates a document for you, and it saves it so that it becomes available for you within the context of the project, and you can search on it easily. All right, with that, I'm going to move on to the next section, which is the core piece of our webinar, project management. Nick, unless you want to stop me here with any questions you have.
Oh, none at this time.
All right, perfect. So project management struggles. This is obviously the heart of the AEC industry. And when I say AEC, the idea is that we are trying to cover a huge spectrum. So construction, architect, architecture firms that we have, engineering firms that we have, but then also HVAC, mechanical, subcontractors, all of those. And all of those have these challenges. And the challenges are on managing internal tasks, as well as when it comes to so many vendors and third parties and subcontractors and hourly employees, managing them as well. So we've tried to bring it all together with BOLDBuild. From the challenges standpoint, we feel that the 68% who experience decreased productivity due to poor schedule management. Just not knowing who is working on what when, and when they are available, when they will be booked. There's no holistic view to be able to see that. That causes lots of challenges. 35% of time is spent more than 14 hours per week on non-productive activities. When I say that, it means just searching for information or asking questions that they should be able to access directly themselves. And then only 18% are using mobile apps. So I do want to highlight here that everything I'm showing you is mobile compatible. So BOLDBuild is completely mobile friendly. All of this is accessible on mobile. People on the field can access it. We also have some other apps which are specifically for field folks, like foremans and field admins and your journeyman and apprentice. But even project managers, everything I show you, they'll be able to access that. So with that, the first thing I want to start, again, I'm on the same screen. So it's a very nicely separated screen, and you have tabs up here. The first thing I want to show you is teams. So as you come and you are onto your project, you set up your team for the project. We have in this internal team and external team. And all of this partially is done for you. So you can have a template and automatically gives you all the roles that you want. And then you just come in and you specify, okay, for this role, I want this person. So it's again very easy, and you save it, and you can do inline editing. And same is the case for your external team. So your external stakeholder, for example, your owner, your construction manager, your architect. Now know that I am performing some of these wearing the hat of a general contractor, right? But if you are a subspecialty contractor, these templatized are configurable. So you would have the roles based on how you want to use BOLDBuild as a primary driver and what you are trying to achieve out of that. So the first thing you do is you obviously set this up. And then from the scheduling standpoint, you can, if you want to have your templatized tasks, you can have those, and this is where you can do bulk edits to them. So you can, for example, select all of them, and you can go in here and you can say edit, and you would set the start date because you wanted to start with the template, which a project happened last year, you want to push it all up. And once these two operations are done, then we have this very nice looking, easy to use scheduler for you, which allows you to do most of your work in there. So it is full functionality project scheduling tool. It has Gantt chart in there as well. It has this grid view in there as well. And it's very easy to use. So for example, you see I have this one sample project plan put in place. I can very easily go, for example, I want to add something to this classwork. I can click on new. It gives me a nice subject. I say I want to do window work here. And I want to move it as a child for this classwork. So I very easily go in here and I say I want it to be a subtask. It's still showing it there. So I say I want it to be a subtask one more. Now it's inside my classwork in here. I can go and I can specify what's the type of this task. So it's a task or it's a work order and so on and so forth. I can set up a milestone. I can set the end date for this. So for example, let's say for this one, I say this is due September 10th, and it is going to start on, I would say, September 7th. So it's 3-day task I have in here. And I can, in the same view, assign resources as well. So I say, okay, John Cruz is going to work on it. So this is where I am. I've just set up this task. I can now go into my timeline view, and you can see that I'm looking at the week view. So it's like a lot to consume, but I can change my view. I can say, okay, at quarterly, and showing it to me in September. This is the task that I just added. It's showing me my resource because I added that. John Cruz is in here. And I can now quickly edit this and say, okay, this is 100% done, 50% done, whatever I want to do in here. But let's say for the sake of this demo that I'm done with it 50%. You see it has shaded this. It's showing me that it's 50%. If I go back to my grid view, it's showing me 50% done here as well. You can see in progress, it's showing me a blue identifier. When it's completed 100%, it will strike it out like this, and it will show the green identifier. You can also filter down on these tasks. So you can say, I don't want to see all of these tasks. I want to just see tasks that are completed, or I can see in progress or finished, so on and so forth. And you hit the supply filter and it will refresh it for you. You can obviously go back from this extended view to a smaller view where it shows you in context of the project. Now, we want you to use this, of course, but we know that some of the customers we work with, they are already using other tools like Rike and Microsoft Project Online, and they are closely using them and they don't want to start using this. So you can integrate with those as well. So you see we have sync with Rike and sync with Microsoft Project Online. You can click on any of these buttons and your project task and skill can sync between those two systems. But one important aspect here is that you have not only these tasks for one project, but if within this project you have multiple sites like I have here, I can have a project plan for Elliott Field and I can have another one for UCSD extension building. I haven't said anything, but if I click on this, it will take me to a blank project plan because I haven't created it. But I can easily switch between multiple sites that I have, and I can have all of this in one view. Now, within the project, of course, you just don't want to manage these tasks. One thing which is very important is, as you assign John Cruz to this and have him working on window work, our mobile app for field folks, when John is on site, he will be able to see this. And in real time, he'll be able to submit his time against this task. So if you see it's a 4-day task, he will be able to submit that. And as in real time, John is working on it, it will start showing progress here. So I kind of manually updated it for the sake of this demo, but you don't have to do that. We have a mobile app which looks something like this. I won't go into the demo of this, but you can add timesheets, you can take snapshots there by turning on the camera on the mobile device, and all of that information flows directly into the view that I'm showing you here, and it tracks all of that. And then it shows you dailies, your time entries as well. If you're dealing with vendors and you are generating purchase orders, you can do that in here as well, and then they can add in their time against the purchase orders as well. You can also use this to track material estimated versus used. So all the materials that you have, it shows you those, and then it, for example, for each, it is telling you, if you see this legend, what was estimated, what's the quantity on at hand, what has been consumed, and what's still pending. So you can see here, concrete 25 was estimated, cubic meter 25 was ordered, 10 has been consumed, 10 has been received, and 10 has been consumed. So it kind of giving you all of that stuff in there. Last thing I want to show from the project management standpoint is that you have a holistic view of project as well. So we call it the portfolio view. I can go in here and it goes me this Kanban view of where each of my project is sitting. And this is more like if I'm managing 5 or 6 different projects, then it is going to show me this pictorial view for my projects. Let's see, hit load. So you can see it is telling me about different stages in which these projects are sitting. I can move this. I can say, okay, I'm moving this from this stage to another stage. I won't do it for this demo, but it also has this portfolio view for you. And last but not least is that you obviously have your resource management. So I can go into resources, I can generate my resource bookings, I can set up my crew members, and those are the ones that you would then use in the schedule as I was showing you John Cruz, and assign them onto that. So that is kind of what I wanted to share from the project, just from the navigation standpoint. So let's say if I want to go back to my project now, it's again easy. You can pin stuff. I'll just click on this and I'm back to where I was, and I'll take you back to the slide deck. So again, a lot of effort has gone into this because the challenges that I showed you are obviously the challenges that are easy to quantify. A challenge that is more difficult to quantify is user experience. So a lot of effort has gone into that, and we are continuously improving on that as well with the feedback that we receive. But hopefully you were able to see how it can help you eliminate those 14 hours people waste on non-productive activities by focusing on what's important. And because everything we have is mobile compatible, so you can access it quickly, easily from anywhere on your mobile apps and be able to execute on these projects. So with that, I'll move to the next one, which is core, again, collaboration, unless Nick stops me.
Yeah, a couple questions came in actually. So speaking of the mobile app, So question came in, is the mobile version working online mode only, or is there an offline mode?
So the mobile version we have only works in online mode right now. We have the capability to add the offline capability into that, but we haven't had a huge demand on that, so we haven't done it as yet.
Okay. And then another question came in, and it was more along the lines of like the timeline setting tasks. It's, can you set different views and tasks for different departments to see the timeline? For example, production or field installation?
So we have grouping available in there. So you can right now apply a filter. So every time they come in and they'll be able to apply a filter. We don't have a way to save that filter for the subsequent view, but it's a good suggestion. We do it in some of the other charts and dashboards that we build, where you can select a filter and you can save it. And that's how we'll probably solve that problem if we have to, but we don't have that right now.
Okay. And then I would like to launch a poll, because I love launching polls. And it's basically, are you currently using a system for project management? Or if you are and you're not happy and you'd like to learn more about BOLDBuild, we'd love to hear that. If you're not and you'd like to learn more about BOLDBuild, perfect. If you are, I did in the chat put a question in there. We'd love to hear your feedback on which project management solution you are using. So feel free to enter it there if you're up for sharing, because we like to hear that feedback as well. So it looks like we got a couple people saying yes and a couple people saying they'd like to learn more about BOLDBuild. So we love hearing that as well. All right, I'll leave this open for another couple seconds here. And perfect. There we go. Close that up and right back at you, Tad.
All right, so one of my favorites is collaboration, which is a huge challenge because I think it's just the way the industry has evolved. So that's one of the reasons why it's a challenge. But here are some stats for you again. 82% want more collaboration with their contractors, outside folks. 60% face communication and coordination challenges with team members. 49% have to manually transfer data between apps because there's no single system. Now, why is this important? It's important because I've seen many systems, and they would say, oh, we have this chat app, and we have this app, but those apps are all separate. So I can go to the chat app, I chat, but now I'm back in the project, so how do I know what happened there? And that's where BOLDBuild, again, I think is different and hopefully better. And I'll show you, and I'll leave it for you guys to decide. But there are 2 or 3 collaboration features that we already have in there. The first and foremost is you have this timeline. So it allows you to track everything that is happening in context of your project. So let's say if I want to send an email, I can send an email from here. I want to do a task, I want to do a visit, I want to do anything, I want to schedule an appointment. I can do all that from within my project management, and it will show it to me on this timeline in a chronological order. So I can see the whole stretch of the events. I can also automatically create some of these. So for example, when you send a submittal, I can track that in here as well in the timeline. So as you come to the timeline from the collaboration standpoint, you know exactly where this project is sitting. The other piece we have done is that we have integrated this with Microsoft Teams. So when I click this button, what happens is that it opens up this Teams for me within this whole project for me within the Teams window. So I'm going to drag it here. And you see this now is Microsoft Teams. And in here, it has opened it up. So let's say if I want to initiate a discussion here, I can just click on this chat. And I'm in context of my project. I can see all the details on this project. I can go onto the schedule and say, okay, what are the tasks? What is going on in here? And then I can ask questions with respect to the tasks I have. So for example, I can come in here and I can go here. Say, show me my tasks. Say, Ryan, I keep on asking questions to Ryan because he says, will do, boss. Obviously, I love him for that. And I go and I say, Ryan, what's up with window work? And then Ryan would probably say, will do, boss, because it's a demo. But otherwise, he might not just do anything about it. But the thing is, I'm able to communicate and collaborate with people very, very easily and effectively right from my Teams. And I have all this information available to me in here. I can look at any of the details. I can look at the dailies, my time, and it does take some time for it to load at times, but here it's like showing me all of the details. I can go in here and I can collaborate. And that's just one way of the second one, actually. And the third is it also integrates with Office 365 group. So if I click on this Office 365 group, what it does is it creates one email for your project, and it adds all your team members like I showed you originally, that you can have internal and external teams. It just adds them in there for you. And you can come in here and you can send a message to them. So you can say, we need to work harder. And you can send it to them and they can say, screw you, or they can start working harder, whatever they want to do there. But they can essentially see my message. They will receive it, and they receive it in their inbox as well. If we have a calendar view, we can have that calendar view schedule. And again, important thing is all this collaboration and communication I'm showing you, it's in context of BOLDBuild, which is very, very important, because some of the tools that are out there, they say there's collaboration, or we have this chat feature, or we have this feature, but it's all about having one connected system. And the biggest pain point in the AEC industry is that there's 6 or 7 apps that every company is using, or applications that are disconnected that every company is using, which is a bigger pain point. So this is kind of what I wanted to share with you from the collaboration standpoint. Try to make it easy for you to collaborate. Know that BOLDBuild allows easy integration. So the reason why I'm showing you Microsoft Teams and Microsoft Office is because we are also a Microsoft partner, and it's easier for us to showcase this. But if you're using Slack and other tools, we can also integrate with them, because BOLDBuild has an API and it makes it very easy for us to integrate with other applications. So with that, I will showcase to you that we definitely fulfill this need of 82% of the people who want to do better collaboration. We eliminate the 60% communication and coordination challenges, and there's no manual transferring, because like I said, it's one connected system. One other thing I want to showcase here is, obviously this is all the folks that are inside your organization. But what about your vendors? We also have this portal for the vendors, and any communication that happens with them as well is tracked. So for example, I sent a submittal, and here Whitney, who was my primary contact for that submittal, let's say she opens up this document and she wants to submit something to me. What will happen then is, as soon as that document is submitted through this portal, and the look and feel of this portal and how it looks can be changed. This is just a demo portal that we have. So she can see all the documents that are sent over to her. And if she uploads a document, I will be able to see that in there too. And I will be able to see that, okay, this document is coming from her. So I can also manage external outside collaboration and communication within BOLDBuild. So with that, the next piece I want to show you is vendor qualification and vendor pre-selection. I'm going to jump right into the pain points, because that again is a huge problem. So 69% identify poor contractor performance as a challenge. They're easier to blame as well, because they're not part of the organization. So whenever something goes wrong, it's obviously the third party. It's very easy. It's easier even for when there's no clear documentation of communication. That is what we try to eliminate. 23% have pre-qualification procedures for vendor qualification, but they're very, very difficult. So for example, how do I create my favorite list for the vendor for a specific service? So BOLDBuild addresses that too. And 54% experience a shortage of at least one construction material. What does that mean? So let's say I had one vendor who was supposed to provide me all glasswork or all concrete, and now they're out of it. So I need to have a system that quickly allows me to onboard another one, fulfill my need or the gaps, and then be able to manage both of them. And that's exactly what BOLDBuild does. So first and foremost, BOLDBuild has a vendor qualification app. It's a complete different process. I won't go into that, but it allows you to launch surveys. You can have your own set of questionnaire that you can send over to them over a course of time. You, based on their responses, based on how they're doing on different projects, you can evaluate them, and you can manage all of those vendors in here. But that's not going to be the core topic of discussion. What I'm going to focus on, that once you have your preferred vendors, how BOLDBuild makes it easier for you to work with them. So let me just minimize this and go back to my project app. So in here, you can see I have a section which I refer to as subcontractors. So based on my procurement, which shows everything holistically that is happening across this project, all the services I need, all the equipment I need, all the materials I need, where I need to go to subcontractors for these services. For example, I need Glacier service in here. What we have done is we have built this vendor selection app. So I click on that and it opens up a very nice and easy to use application for me. Based on what I showed you, my vendor qualification app, I have already asked those questions. I've already shortlisted them. And then it makes it easy enough for me to say, okay, I need these materials and this service for it. I click on this service and it says, here is your recommended vendor that you should be using. If I select this and hit save, it automatically adds it to my project. Similarly, if I go in here and I say I need cement, it shows me, okay, here are all of your vendors who can provide you cement. I can go in here and I can select Bechtel and I hit save and it automatically adds it to my project. Now, if I go into my subcontractor, this is how it adds them. So you can see it is telling me I'm using this Rip City for both Glacier services and materials, and I'm using Bechtel for my cement materials only. And then I can generate purchase orders directly in here, and I can manage all of this communication and collaboration with them. I also have features here where once I have selected them, I can quickly reach out to them for request for proposal. And again, I'll show it to you. This is one of the features that I don't have to come up with a documentation, re-enter this information. The system will automatically do it for me, send it over to them. They can send the response and I can take it from there. So again, focus being here, eliminate all of this, eliminate poor contractor performance. And if there is performance issues, it's easier to pinpoint, fix, and move on from. Pre-qualification processes are easy, like I showed you the vendor qualification app, and the shortage of one or more contractors is not an issue. As long as you have them pre-qualified, you can easily, through our app, select a new one, add them to your project, and generate a purchase order for them. So moving on to the bidding piece, unless, Nick, you have anything you want to stop me for?
Oh, we're good.
All right. So bidding obviously is happening before the project starts. You can see the challenges we have: 4 to 6 weeks to prepare a bid. Companies incur up to 100,000 for preparing bids. This is over a course of a year based on an average bids that they do, and they struggle with incomplete information. And we kind of try to solve all of these challenges as well with BOLDBuild. For showing you bidding, I'm going to go into pre-construction phase of this because that's where the bidding was finalized. So I click again on my pin view here. It takes me quickly into that. And in the details section, we have a very elaborate view of estimation, which is the bidding module in here. First of all, before I go into showing you how a bid is created, I can tell you that we have all of these statuses on a bid. So the system can internally close a bid and generate a new one. It can close it as rewarded. It can close it as lost for pricing. It can create clones of it. It can store it for future users. So the whole life cycle of bid management is incorporated in it. And then when it comes to generating a bid, you have two ways of doing it. The only reason why we have two ways is that 70% of folks working in the AC are still married to this Excel. We're trying to move them away from it, but it's a huge number, so it's going to take some time. And they say we want to continue to use our Excels. In that case, what you can do is you can hit this choose file, you will select your estimation or bid sheet. And I won't show you that, but as soon as you do that, it will start. There's the engine, Excel reading engine. It starts reading from it and it will incorporate everything in there. The other is that you want to use our app for doing the bid. So I switch to our app and I can now go and say, okay, I want to do multiple products. And what it does is now I can go to each of these sections: material, equipment, labor, services, and I can click on add new. And it's a CPQ kind of a process where we have made it very easy to multi-select these. So you see how it shows you a nice view to be able to multi-select all of them. So I can go, I need this, I need concrete, I need cement, I need glass based on this, and I can specify quantities. And as I hit add material, it will bring it in here. I'll discard this. Again, same thing with equipment, same thing with labor. And as I'm done, I save and close this. It will add this bid into my details section in the estimation section in here. And again, I can from here award this bid if it gets created. it gets selected. I can close it as internal. I can do multiple revisions because it's very, very common in this industry. But it's a very elaborate, extensive bidding management module that we have as part of BOLDBuild. So it definitely would have one single source of truth. Once you have generated a bid in BOLDBuild or have uploaded it, you don't have to re-enter that information to create your documents, and I'll show you that in 1 second. 45% of this preparation is eliminated with this, and no struggle of incomplete information because all of your information is one system. So with that, I think I have 10 minutes. I'm going into document generation. Nick, any polls or questions?
Yeah, I want to launch a poll. It's been a while.
All right, do that.
So I just want to check in with everybody and get your feedback on how you guys handle your estimation and bidding. Are you using Excel? Like Tyab said, we run into a lot of people who are still stuck on Excels, and it's understandable why, because you put a lot of effort into it to develop it for your organization. Are you using another tool, or you need something else because it's not working right now? So looks like we got roughly 30-ish% saying they're using Excel right now, 50 using another tool, and a couple people saying they need something else to make their bidding easier. All right, we'll leave this open for a little bit longer, a couple more seconds, but I do appreciate all the feedback. All right, thank you very much, and Ty, back to you.
Thank you so much. So the next in line is automatic document generation. So now that you have done all the hard work, you have all the data in the system, and issue you run into is now you're generating documents, you're keying it in, copy pasting it. We have eliminated it on so many levels. I'll try to go through each one as quickly as I can. But 36% collect and document change orders on less than half of their project. Such a painful process because you have to capture all this information. A lot of rework is caused by that. They want to streamline the change order management process as far as document generation and tracking is concerned. I'll come to that as well, but I want to also show you, we just generated a bid here. I have a button in here that says generate proposal. As you hit that, it is going to generate a proposal for you, and it is going to add it to your timeline right in here. And you will be able to open up that and see a template that you have in there, and you will be able to use it. So for example, you see that this is the UCSD proposal I have. Let me just show you very quickly how it looks, because I want to primarily show you that it can be any template. I'm just using this template for the sake of this webinar, but any template you had could be used in here. It pulls in all the information, all the bid details right in here. So if I go up here, you see it has this bid details. It is carrying it over from your bid. It can bring in your inclusions and exclusions. It can bring in your scope of work and all that information. So that's one level of it. I'm going to go back to my project. Again, I showed you it's easy for us to navigate because I have everything pinned. On the change request, obviously that is happening on the contract level. So from the project, I go to my contract, and in here I have a change order. And let's say if I want to generate a document to be sent over for this, all I do is I hit this generate, and just like I showed you for a proposal, here's my template for the change order. And these templates are very, very easy to configure. So this is my change order template. I previously showed you the templates for submittal, the template for RFIs. And like Nick told you, all of these can be configured for you and changed based on your requirements. So this is how BOLDBuild makes it very, very easy for you to handle some of these challenges that you have on automatic generation of the documents, double entry, and this rework, both in terms of the rework that you do because you're not able to do the change request at all, and you have to do it for free, or the rework in terms of just having to re-enter information is handled. And the last module I have here is the executive insights, which is the dashboarding piece. So this is obviously huge because all of the executives want insights into the whole cycle, sales, pre-construction, construction, post-construction. So 41% lack visibility into how data is being used. 76% are willing to invest in it. And we have used Power BI as a stack. So it's very easy for me to extend on what I'm going to show you today. And this is a huge number. 90% spend 1,300 hours yearly trying to connect and organize information because the information is disjointed, which is totally not the case with BOLDBuild. So I showed you some of these dashboards already, but we have lots of these in there. So I can go in here and I can start with my labor hours dashboard. So in here, you will see that all of my projects are listed. I can look at the time spent by job, by phase, by trade, by employee, by cost code. I can filter them down on these statistics as well. I can also track my subcontractor performance. I have a subcontractor dashboard that kind of primarily shows me how my subcontractors are doing. So if I come in here and I open up by subcontractor, it's going to show me there's GeoGrid vendor. And if I click on this, it tells me, okay, this is how they're submitting their time. I can do purchase order analytics here as to how they are performing against the POs. I showed you in the project that you can generate a PO for a vendor. It kind of allows you to capture that for you. I have some of these on the equipment level as well. So for example, we were looking at the Elliott Field project in there. So I can go in there and say, okay, I click on this project because this is the one that we were using for the demo. So it's telling me I have a generator on site, I have an outdoor security light outside, and I have a drill machine on site. And I can go into equipment aging and it will tell me for how long the equipment has been there. And I can, again, I have filters on the right, filter down very, very quickly on this information. I have submittals, I have RFIs, and I'm just using the project management app. All of the apps, sale app, pre-construction app, all of them have similar dashboards built and embedded for you that can be easily changed to eliminate any lack of insights you have. We appreciate your willingness, but we have done most of this for you, so you don't have to spend more money on this, as well as not desire it because BOLDBuild offers it. And with that, I just hand it over to Nick to close it out.
All right, I got one final poll before we wrap this up real quick. I'm gonna launch it about the reports. Do you have all the right reports to keep your projects on track? Yes, you got them all. You're good to go there. Only a few, but a dashboard would be very helpful, or I need better reports and dashboards altogether. And like Ted was saying, our dashboards do change based on role and app, so it's relevant to the person actually looking at it. So if you're in sales, you're not looking at RFIs and submittals because that wouldn't really help you too much. So it looks like, well, it's pretty much split, 30% for each category. That's great to see. We're making this one quick because we are almost out of time, so I will close this up. Again, thank you very much for your participation there. As far as next steps are concerned, we would love to talk to you and get you onboarded with BOLDBuild, or at least get you a free trial, so that way you can get your hands on it, see how it works, and see how it can actually benefit your organization. And if you do like it, we'll set up a free discovery and design with you, so we can really map it out specifically to your organization, and then get you up and running, so that way you can see all the benefits. Real quick, we did want to kind of showcase our packages. We have 3 of them, basic, standard, and premium. They're all based on user counts or the size of the business, if you will. And then we've estimated the actual configuration and setup. At the bottom there, those vary depending on your level and needs. And type, if you would, yeah, perfect. I did put this link in the chat, so if you did want to actually dive deeper into what's included within each package, and then scroll down a little bit further, Taya. One really cool feature is this, where you can actually see everything that BOLDBuild can actually accomplish, and just a little bit of details regarding each of those sections. Because we were only able to do so much in an hour's worth of time, whereas something like this could take a while to explain everything. But so yeah, that's in the chat, so the link's there, but we will also follow up with all of you with the recording. We'll send you more links like this, and if you do want to reach out to us, type, I think on the PowerPoint we have a contact us. One more, boom. So if you did want to reach out to us, that's our contact info. We are in San Diego, California. So if you're local, hit us up and we can go have a beer or coffee or anything. But we will reach out to you, and we look forward to speaking with you. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.